Hey there again, folks. Welcome back to Omen Exitio. Plague. I was like, what's the name of this game again? Exitio. Uh, Plague. This seemed like a weird name for a game, honestly. But anyway, we're picking up exactly where we left off last time, so guess we'll go check out this last village. I wonder if things happen differently if you go in a different order, or if it's just whenever you want to go. As you enter the village, you are plunged into an eerie silence. You have a deja vu, reliving the memory that's come to knock at the door of your reality. It's exactly like the first handful of huts you saw when you came ashore, empty homes and the signs of life that were extinguished in the blink of an eye. Smith gestures at you to split up and investigate, while divisive anguish grips your heart once again. Suddenly hear a noise coming from the bushes around you. The murmur of foliage disturbed by motion, branches rustling, the play of sunlight on the leaves turning into a dangerous glare. You whirl around, your heart missing a beat, and you catch a glimpse of a shadow flitting from branch to branch. You exhale in relief. It was just a bird. You advance deep into the forest, branches twisting away from the trees as if trying to escape the hold of the trunk. And so they were trapped in their contorted attempt at escaping, drawing disquieting shadows in daylight as they are slicing through with their crooked fingers. I'm wondering if, you know, I'm wondering if I went to the village with Lorraine first, if that lady who jumped into the bonfire, if we might could have saved her, if we had found out, hey, that there's a cure, you don't have to jump into the thing and die. You can almost hear them screaming. No, you're really hearing a voice. Somebody is actually screaming in the abandoned village. It's Betsara. We're not just going to ignore his cries for help. You run, moving the branches away from your face, and those you miss scratch at you as if trying to hold you there to share their pain. When you get to the interpreter, he's in shock. He's upset, babbling, his eyes wide, gesturing frantically at the forest. Devil, devil. Can I understand what he means? What do you mean? Well, I can't level up, can I? No, I'm still 2 away. Now I'm exactly to where I can level up. So, fighting or agility? I'm kind of thinking agility. You try to calm down Betsara, putting your hands on his shoulders, looking him straight in the eyes. You let him vent and talk to you, replying to him in a calm and steady voice. You ask him to explain more clearly who that devil was. White man, naked, red eyes, cries blood, wants to kill. I wonder what he could have seen, or whether his words, however implausible, are an accurate description of the truth. Could he really have seen a white man seemingly possessed? You don't get to question him further. A figure suddenly appears out of nowhere and attacks you. It's a fair-skinned man, shouting incoherent words. In an instant, he throws you to the ground and wraps his hands around your neck. Your vision goes dim, and small flashes seem to lure you into unconsciousness, your pupils filling with wisps. You know you're about to lose consciousness as you struggle to breathe. His bloodshot eyes, in the grip of madness, are fixed on you. The man gnashes his teeth, like an animal, hard enough to hear. That agility skill point don't seem like it did any dang good. Oh, crap. I regret my decision to put into agility. What happens if you die? Do you have to start the whole game over, or do you start back with the last decision? Something I'm not sure about now that I think about it. Got 1 skill point with fighting. Is there anybody who can help? I feel like we probably need more than one thing of fighting here. You desperately struggle to rise free from his hold, but you lack the strength to successfully oppose your foe. You try to scream, and the man reacts by tightening his grip on your neck. Your cries die in a choked rasp, and the reality surrounding you starts to fade away, fogged up and liquid. You're about to lose consciousness again when suddenly your enemy freezes, caught suddenly by Vespucci's bayonet, now piercing his body from behind. Right through his spine, blood drips from the madman's mouth, and he stares at you wild-eyed, one last breath before crumbling upon you, lifeless. Omen E. Vespucci. There's some grammatical errors in this game I've noticed. I think it means and. Help you to push the white man's body off of you, dropping it aside. Your uniform is utterly drenched with his blood, and for a moment, exhaustion and the almost fainting strike you with vague nausea. You repress it, opting to grasp the hand that the Irishman has extended to help you get back on your feet. Thanks. You catch your breath, eyeing in turn O'Bannon and mostly Vespucci. Without his intervention, you'd have surely died under the madman's iron chokehold. Don't mention it, mate. Just doing my duty. More to the point, though. What the devil got into him? A devil indeed, huh, Doc? O'Bannon tries to diffuse the tension. You proceed to examine the victim's body, and after a few minutes of analysis, you're ready to give your diagnosis. Explain to your comrades that you believe the case is a fever, most likely the malaric type. The only thing that doesn't make sense are these wounds. Utterly foreign to malaria or indeed any known disease. Ooh. You know where to look, and you immediately recognize the symptoms of the disease in the lesions that have split the skin of the poor fellow, bleeding abundantly and completely soaking his clothes with his own life fluids. On the nape of his neck, you find what you were looking for. The symmetrical punctures, their peculiar shape, a diamond with a circle inside. You're almost certain your suspicions would be confirmed. Whatever it is, that symbol is clearly linked to the disease and its diffusion. And are we infected? He just bled all over us. He was like right in our face. In the meantime, Smith, Betzerai, and the other men from the squadron have joined you. The interpreter is still shaken by his previous experience and keeps his distance from the German, while Smith turns to you with a cross expression. We found the surviving villagers. The disease has spread to this place too. They say that the white man belongs to a larger group who abandoned them around here days ago. You're troubled. This expedition is turning into an endless nightmare. Too many questions crowd your mind at the moment. For a start, what was that man doing in the village? Was it happenstance, or did somebody perhaps set the situation up deliberately? We need 30 points to level up. No, we need 20 for fighting, though. Which we need now. Crap. I would have hit him if I knew that my fighting skill was high enough. I guess it would have. After having finished searching the 3 villages, you continue the reconnaissance mission towards a rebel camp you noticed on the map. At the beginning of your expedition, Smith seems to be worried about that the disease might have reached the men from this village who are, in theory, friends and allies. At the entrance to this village, you find armed men waiting for you. They have European weapons. Smith gestures to his men to remain calm, while one of the villagers heads towards you and speaks. He is obviously tall and strong, despite his garments hiding some of his body. He has a hostile and suspicious look, and when he talks, his face, which is disfiguringly scarred, barely moves. Mkwawa. My name is Mkwawa. I might be butchering that name terribly, and I do apologize if your name happens to be this guy's name. I fight against the German army for the liberation of my people. If you come in peace, you are welcome in this village. If you come to make trouble, you will not see the sunrise tomorrow morning. I slept with the last guy's daughter. Is that trouble? I just want to make clear what trouble is. We don't want to hurt anybody. I may just want to love somebody. You know what I'm saying? So is that trouble? I just need to know. I am Smith and the captain of this squadron, and we have no hostile intentions. We'd like to discuss a group of enemies which have. Mkwawa moves quickly. An arm comes out from his garments, stretching out his hand in front of him, upright and steady, interrupting the captain's words. Good. You, come in. You, wait here. Mkwawa points at you, Smith, and Betsarai, and gestures for you to go beyond the entrance to the village. You approach the captain and ask for explanations while you start walking behind the rebel chief. The rebels are on our side. They often spill over into British territory to escape the chase of our common enemies, the Germans. They are a good ally in this war. Okay. So, Britain and Germany are at war. Okay. Last episode I was wondering about this sort of thing. Mkwawa orders some of his men to watch the other members of your troop. He has an iron and authoritative voice, but unlike Smith, he doesn't need to raise it to be heard. He moves his hands. The gesturing of his body seems to hypnotize anyone he faces, inducing them to bend to his will. The British government supports you, Mkwawa. You don't need these precautions. We are on your side. Mkwawa's mouth twists and he starts to talk. Mkwawa is on his side only. I trust no one. I'll protect my people at all costs. British or German, if you are my guest, you follow my rules. Smith remains silent for a few instants. Then he turns to you and Betsarai, giving a knowing glance. The message is very clear. Captain nods to you, then he turns back to Mkwawa. What do you know about the disease? Mkwawa stares you in the eye. He examines you such as he tries to understand your intentions. He goes from you and Betsarai to Smith, where his eyes stop. The charisma of both of them seems to clash for a handful of silent seconds, fighting in a battle without winners or losers. Both men refuse to cease staring at one another. I've heard stories of people who cry blood, people who suffer. No sick man has entered my village. They died before. Let's observe. Okay, good. Although Mkwawa seems unfathomable and almost unable to express emotions, his men become anxious when you mention the disease, exchanging rather pregnant looks and holding their weapons to their chests as if they could protect them from the disease. What is pregnant looks? What are pregnant looks? You know, I'm curious. Because because I'm thinking like somebody look and like babies shoot from the eyes. You know, that's what I'm thinking. I'm very sure that's not how it is, though. Pregnant looks. Like they're trying to hold back emotion, but it's like they can't hold it back, you know, kind of like, you know, they can't hold back the baby, you know? I don't know. Screams burst through the village's doors. Your stomach lurches, turning upside down and pushing against your lungs. Your heart starts beating rapidly while you can't help thinking this was all a trap. Was a trap all along? Were you wrong to trust these men? You run towards the screams, followed by Smith and Betsarai. Some rebels are carrying an injured man to a clearing where they put him down gently. You take a breath. Your comrades are safe and sound. Then you get to work, bending down to the injured man. You ask for a light. You need to check the condition of his wounds. The injured rebel is screaming in agony. He has a nasty wound on his belly, and it seems painful, probably caused by a bayonet piercing his flesh, barely missing his stomach. But you can try to save him. That's mean. You barge to the men and pull out your medical kit. Clean the wound to prevent infection and quickly suture it carefully. That's all you can do at the moment. He must be taken care of, but he'll live. The man grabs your uniform sleeve. From the pained expression on his face, he seems to want to tell you something. You move closer to him. Not the well. I beg you. I don't understand what the man means. You'd like to ask him directly, but you suddenly realize how messy the situation is getting. Mkwawa is shouting at his men. You head inside the huts to get their weapons. You approach Betsrai to ask him for clarifications. Germans, come. You have no idea what Germans would want from this village, and you don't like it at all. You're still reflecting on links between Mkwawa's camp and the German needs. When you think of the injured rebel, if a battle is going to happen, you need to carry him to a safe place. Remember his face well. It seemed terrified. You remember he mentioned a well. What did he mean? Well, there's a well. You see Betsrai from afar, and he gestures for you to follow. You instinctively move closer, and for a moment the man loses himself, staring at you with a weird, almost stupefied smile. Then he blinks and pulls himself together, pointing something. A well in the middle of the village. How did you not notice it before? The rebels are busy arranging the village's defense. It's clear they weren't expecting such a sudden invasion, and they're running in all directions, bringing equipment and weapons while they yell in their language. Smith walks away to warn the rest of the troop to get ready if reinforcements are needed. No one notices you, so you decide this is the right moment to get closer to the well and try to figure out what it hides. My question is, are you always better off choosing the ones that use the skills? Of course, the thing is, if you don't have high enough skills, you might fail. But then again, using the skills gets you experience, which can help you get the skills to do this, so. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Okay, good. Got 14 experience. You lay down and try to look into the well. It's dark, but you search for an angle, which allows you a better view. With your other senses vigilant, you can feel something. There seems to be some whimpers coming from the bottom of the well. Try to lean over further, but you see with the corner of your eye that some people are coming, probably rebels. You hide. 2 men are approaching, carrying something, a corpse wrapped in a blanket. You are forced to look away, flattening yourself against the rock of the well and sitting there. You hold your breath when the two men's shadows are projected beyond your position, listening. Hear the heavy weight swaying and the thud of the body thrown into the well. Sound of cracking bones makes you shiver. You think about Mkwawa's words. No sick man has entered my village. They died before. You wait to hear if there are any more steps, ensuring that the men are leaving. And then you come out of your hiding place to examine the well more thoroughly. That little abyss in the ground hides more than mere mud. How do we get back up? I mean, I'm going to do it, but how do we get back up? You climb over the well with care and enter its mouth. You grab onto the edge and start to search for a protruding stone to climb down. You can't see a thing, and your foot misses a foothold. You slip, falling into the well. You took a hard blow to your back, but you're still in one piece. Yeah, seriously, can you die literally in this game? As in, you see no ending? I wonder what happens when you die. A sugary smell immediately attacks your nostrils. You perfectly recognize this rotting stench which lives in this place. The sounds of your steps echo against the walls of the little cave, letting you know that around you the scent widens into a bit of a dome, forming a half-spherical dip which surrounds you in a claustrophobic hug. I figured there's multiple endings. I don't know if I'll play this for more than one ending, though. If it was a standard visual novel, I might would do it, but we'll have to see. Hopefully it'll unlock maybe it'll unlock getting to an ending. It will unlock, maybe you can skip to certain areas. I guess the only problem is you would miss out on chances to level up and stuff. Take a few steps before your right foot meets something soft. You lower your side and you find a couple wide open eyes. This man you tried to help, dead and smashed on the well's ground. Your heart stops for an instant, and you step back. When your eyes start getting used to darkness, you begin to realize that there are several corpses piled up in that well. Some kind of mass grave, or maybe the place where people convicted by Mkwawa end up. A sudden wailing which bounces on the cave's walls makes you jolt. We got another achievement. You crouch and stretch your arms in front of you, groping around to avoid falling over some corpses. There must be someone still alive down here, and you are sure of it. You touch many dead bodies, some of them already rotting. A knot tightens your stomach, and you have to draw on all your focus and willpower not to vomit. While you explore that awful pit of putrefaction, you find a recent body, and although you can't see it, you reach for the nape of its neck with your fingers, and your fingertips brush against the swelling you know well. The diamond punctures in the inner circle. Makwawa lied. You don't have a lantern. You can't see more than this. You cannot do anything but going back. You try to climb back up, but it's definitely more complex than the descent. A trickle of sweat falls down the nape of your neck, and the thought of remaining stuck in this awful place turns your muscles into gelatin. Can't imagine how these men felt when, thrown inside the well, they found themselves still alive, left there in misery, to die of starvation. These thoughts leave your mind as screams searching for an escape, calling for help from the top of the well, but receiving no answers. At some point when your throat starts to hurt, you see a rope lowering into your prison. Without hesitation and with your eyes filled with tears, you grab it and quickly climb to the surface. It's Betsera who greets you with his weird, wild look. He smiles at you, pulling the top of the rope, allowing you to escape that terrible destiny. Without thought, you hug him, showing your gratitude with way too viscerally. When you move away from him, you decide to go back to Smith and your troop. Your clothes are still saturated with the stink of death, and you'll unlikely forget the horror you just witnessed. Smith is gathering his men with his usual military frown. When he notices you approaching, he sees your distraught face. Alarmed, he grabs your shoulders and starts shaking you violently. Huntington, where have you been? What is this stench? Gee, thanks. That's polite. Captain, I've searched a well in the middle of the village. It's full of corpses. Makwawa is hiding something. I think you're right, Huntington. We've picked a terrible ally, and I can't let this fanatic threaten me or my men. Smith's expression shows aversion and disgust towards the rebel chief, a tyrannical ruler. He will subjugate his entire tribe with terror. After a slight hesitation, Captain seems to come back to his senses, regaining his military behavior, and he gives an order to the squadron. Ready your weapons. The Germans are coming. Oh, we're fighting against the Germans. Okay. I can't level up, right? Yeah. I wonder if us falling and hurting ourselves any will affect the game. Like, will there be a point where it'd be like we try to attack him like, ooh, my back, and dead, because our back is sore from it, falling on it. All of Makwawa's men are gathered in the village square. You join them, getting information alongside them to organize the village's defenses. The Germans are coming. You're seized by doubt. Why did Makwawa need to lie about the disease? What is the meaning of his secrecy and lack of cooperation? While you're deep in thought, you see Captain Smith moving towards the rebel chief, ready to confront him. The two men look intently at each other for a short while, their stares meeting as if trying to defeat one another. Even before the two men start talking, it's trench warfare, a war of attrition, which neither of the adversaries seem to want to lose. Finally, when it's clear to both men that their rival won't lower their eyes, Smith is the one who starts talking. I don't like it when an ally of mine hides information from me. If we survive, we'll have much to discuss. What happens in my village is no business of yours. Makwawa's words make Smith twitch, and he becomes visibly furious. As for the rebel chief, Makwawa is again staring back at your captain. The two men seem ready to come to blows any moment, Smith's voice getting louder and louder, and Makwawa's composure starting to waver under the military man's verbal assault. You fear you were wrong in sharing your doubts with Smith in such a delicate moment. You must try to do something to prevent the situation from getting even worse. Well, we got good speechcraft. I mean, we got decent speechcraft. Smith will listen to us. I figured it'd be harder to reason with Mkwawa. Captain, this is not the moment to create friction with our allies. The Germans will be upon us any time now. Captain Smith freezes upon hearing your words as if he realizes he has crossed the line. You're right, Huntington. Captain exhales and approaches the rebel chief in a much calmer manner. At this moment, cooperating to the best of your ability is paramount. Okay, a gunshot seemingly erupting from nowhere interrupts the heated discussion. One of Mkwawa's men drops to the ground like a sack of potatoes, without a word, without a whimper. He dies unsuspectingly, leaving behind only a thud and a small cloud of dust. The shot comes from far and is immediately followed by more. You're under attack, the Germans are here. The village is plunged into chaos and you find yourself lost. Pushed around blindly, not knowing what to do. Just a minute ago you were trying to conciliate Smith and Mkwawa's in their altercation. Now you have no idea where to go. With an effort you manage to focus, look around to get a general idea of the fight, and prepare to face the enemies. You glance at those around you. Right now there are no more disagreements, quarrels, or changes of attitude. Gone are the healthy men, the disease, the threats, and everything you've lived before the enemy arrived. The screams and gunfire are the only sounds reigning inside the village. You and the rebels are united in a single desperate mission: survival. The Germans advanced and more start emerging ghost-like from the brush. Where you are is too exposed to the enemy. As such, when you notice O'Bannon running towards a nearby hut, you opt to follow. Unfortunately, the cover fire provided by your comrades does appear to be enough to protect you from the German guns. So much that you are forced to change your trajectory, ending up in another home. You look out into the darkness of the night, but you can't see anything. You aim your weapon out into the darkness. Outside, the raging sounds of fighting carry on, shots and screams swirling together in the furnace of battle. Then a different sound, clear and very close behind you. You spin around to see the light reflecting off of a knife blade as it cuts through the air right where your neck had been just a second ago. Well, our agility is 2 and our fighting is 1, so... Oh crap, what? You try to dodge the enemy attack, but you still receive a flesh wound on your arm. However, with your opponent off balance, you manage to get him to the ground with a kick. Rebel comes in right as the enemy is about to counterattack, and he fires, killing him. By now, the Germans have reached the village. They are a resolute, alert mass, never breaking formation. They move as one with such discipline, resembling machines more than human beings. The rebels and your comrades are hiding patiently, waiting for the right moment to attack and catch the invaders off guard. Time seems to stretch, and all sounds become muffled. You're charging. You vaguely remember when you started running or screaming, kicking the dirt off the ground beneath you. The dust engulfs you, and accompanying your charge, swirling around you as if to lash at your enemies. You cannot see from amongst the chaotic prelude to battle, but you know that O'Bannon and Vespucci are at your side, and you've even caught a glimpse of Betsarai joining the attack. Even though all of the rebels have joined you in setting upon the Germans, the enemy's defenses prove to be very effective. They stand firm side by side like an ancient Roman phalanx, and bullets rain down on whoever tries to get close. A barrage of gunfire ensues, wave after wave of lead crashing into your comrades and the rebels. Mkwawa incites the rebels to fight and not to give up. He's shouting for the first time since he arrived in this village. He resembles a deity, standing tall in the midst of a small army. He yells like a man possessed, waving his arms and shouting orders as if his words were infused with a magic capable of turning them into reality. You see Ryan hit by a bullet. You manage to get close to him, but it's too late now. You turn around to see a soldier stab Betsarai in the stomach with a bayonet. Call the half-Italian's name. You don't even know how many times, shaking him by the shoulders and trying to bring him back from the cold embrace of death. Achievement failed. Panic chokes you and rips you away from the eerie, suspended world your mind was stuck in. Time regains its usual speed, and the roar of battle rattles the ground. Then a German soldier is suddenly upon you, but you manage to stop the blade His bayonet a couple inches from your neck. I was having trouble reading there. Let me check something. Okay, German attack. The Quawa. During the fight with the Germans, one or more of your comrades lost their lives. How do you not have them die then? Interesting. I am a bit of an achievement hunter, so that is interesting to me. Well, again, our agility is 2, our fighting is 1, so I would think running would be a smart decision. Okay, good. The German soldier tries to skewer you with his bayonet, but you dodge his attempt with a quick sidestep and punch him right in the face with your left fist. You gain a couple of seconds as the enemy hits the ground, stunned and taken aback by your sharpness. Taking advantage of this, you run towards the hut. You'll be safe there. Paralyzed by fear, you cannot move or use your common sense to do anything but catch your breath and listen to the sounds of the battle growing more violent by the second. Suddenly, a grubby hand covers your mouth, filling it with a bitter taste of sweat and dirt. You try to wriggle free, but to no avail. The man behind you is holding with the strength of an iron vise, and prevents you from making even the tiniest of movements. The man begins to speak, almost whispering right into your ear. Despite his heavy German accent, he speaks your language. You recognize his voice. Mr. Huntington, fear not. We're on the same side. I've been told you've resumed your research. I'm glad you followed my advice. This guy again. The man thankfully takes his hand off your mouth. Meyer, what are you doing here? What do you want from me? I'm here for you, Mr. Huntington. We need to join forces. Tell me what you have discovered in these villages. A terrible doubt creeps into your mind. The attack, the disease, is everything connected? Could Meyer himself have been the one to leave you that message on the ship? This man seems to know everything already. I'm just not going to give him the concoction. I feel like he's going to be too smart for our 2 things of speechcraft to work. Yeah. Examined several patients and found common traits amongst them. No potential treatment. The man mulls over your words. He doesn't look convinced. His eyes penetrate through your conscience. Then he appears to be distracted, as if he were no longer listening to you. The sounds of battle grow fainter. It would seem the rebels have gained the upper hand. You glimpse a sense of apprehension on Meyer's face, making it clear that it's time for him to run for the hills. The mysterious man brusquely takes his leave and vanishes from sight. Okay, good. I'm glad we definitely didn't give him the concoction. Hopefully he didn't just take it, though. Meyer surges and pistol whips your temple without any warning. It's a violent strike, and you immediately lose consciousness. Wake up, Huntington. Struggling to open your eyes, you regain consciousness. Your head is pounding, and it takes you some time to remember where you are and what has happened. Captain Smith is standing in front of you. You've got to get out of here, and fast. With his help, you're on your feet again, and the first thing you do is check your pockets. They're completely empty. The backpack is gone too. You have nothing. Really? Not anything? Wow! He stole everything! What an asshole. Get a move on, soldier. We've got no time. Smith is swift to leave the village. You follow him. He stole everything, man! Wow! Great. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to end the video here. Man, I can't believe he stole everything. What an asshole, seriously. Meyer, you're an asshole. If anybody's watching this whose name is Meyer, you're not an asshole. You might be, but I don't know if you are or not, so I can't judge it. But anyway, I'm going to go and end the video here. I do hope you guys are still enjoying the series. I am. I'm enjoying the game. I'm curious where it goes. And yeah, if you enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you next one. Later there, folks.